Have you ever wondered how to achieve true inner peace amidst daily chaos? Buddhism offers us ancient teachings that guide us toward acceptance and detachment, showing us that what is meant for us will come at the right time. Through stories and parables, we will learn to let go of what does not belong to us and embrace with serenity what life offers us. We will discover how detachment does not mean indifference, but rather a profound form of freedom that allows us to live fully in the present. Join us on this journey of self-discovery and personal transformation, where we will explore together how to apply these teachings in our daily lives to achieve a more fulfilling and mindful existence. The art of detachment, freeing the soul. Once, there was a monk who carried a porcelain cup gifted to him by his master. He admired it, cared for it meticulously, and always kept it by his side. One day, the cup fell to the ground and shattered into 1,000 pieces. The monk felt an emptiness in his chest, but his master told him, that cup was already broken from the beginning. Detachment is not indifference or resignation. It is understanding that nothing in this world is permanent. How often do we cling to things, people, or situations, fearing their loss? We cling to relationships that no longer serve us, to expectations that frustrate us, to emotions that chain us. We believe that if we let go, we lose. But in truth, by letting go, we free ourselves. Buddhism teaches us that suffering arises from attachment. We cling because we seek security in a changing world, but real security does not lie in external things. It lies in our ability to accept impermanence. When we understand this, we stop seeing loss as tragic and begin to live with lightness. Think of it this way. A river does not cling to the water that flows, it simply follows its course. We too can learn to flow with life instead of resisting its changes. How many times has life taken something from us only to give us something better later? But in the moment, blinded by fear and anxiety, we fail to see it. Practicing detachment does not mean renouncing what we love. It means loving without possessing, without depending. It is enjoying what we have fully, knowing that it may change someday, and when that happens, we will be at peace. Detachment is a key that opens the door to acceptance, the next step on this path. Because once we learn to let go, we must learn to embrace what life brings us without resistance or struggle. If this wisdom resonates with you, hit the like button and subscribe for more transformative teachings. Share in the comments below. What's one thing you're ready to release today? Let's support each other on this journey to inner peace. Remember, true freedom begins when we learn to let go. Radical acceptance, embracing reality as it is. One day, a disciple approached his master and said, "Master, I suffer because life is not how I want it to be." The master smiled and replied, "You suffer because you resist what is. Life is not here to please you but to teach you." Acceptance does not mean resignation or surrender. It means seeing reality clearly, without filters or self-deception. Why is it so hard for us to accept what happens to us? Because our minds create stories about how things should be. We believe that if we struggle hard enough, everything will fall into place as we wish. But life does not work that way. Imagine you are at the beach, watching a large wave approach. You can try to stop it, curse it, or resist it, or you can dive into it and let it carry you. The wave will not disappear just because you dislike it. The same is true for situations we cannot control. Resistance only generates more suffering. Accepting life as it is does not mean we must tolerate what harms or hurts us. It is not about enduring injustices or giving up on what we want. It is about acknowledging what is, without denying or dramatizing. Once we accept, we can decide with greater clarity what to do about it. Think of the story of an archer. An expert archer can calculate the trajectory of his arrow with precision, but there are factors beyond his control: the wind, the humidity, the movement of the target. He can lament and frustrate himself, or he can adjust his shot, adapt, and shoot again. In life, many things are beyond our control. Acceptance allows us to focus on what we can do. Sometimes we resist reality because we feel that accepting means losing, but the opposite is true. Acceptance empowers us. It frees us from the weight of useless struggle, allowing us to let go of what we cannot change and focus on what is within our hands. The secret lies in changing the question. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can ask, "What is this teaching me?" This simple shift changes our perspective, helping us find learning where before we only saw suffering. Acceptance also means embracing ourselves, our light, and our shadows. Often our greatest struggle is with ourselves, with our mistakes, imperfections and past decisions. But punishing ourselves does not help. Only when we accept ourselves can we transform. The monk who broke his cup understood that everything was destined to be as it was. In that understanding, he found peace. We too can do the same. When we stop resisting the inevitable, we find deep tranquility. And it is in that tranquility that trust is born. Trust that what is meant for us will come, and what is not will leave. In the next chapter, we will explore Buddhist stories that help us understand how life always gives us what we need, even when we do not comprehend it in the moment. Buddhist stories about destiny and trust in life. An old monk lived in a remote village. One day, a beautiful wild horse appeared in his garden. The astonished villagers said, "How lucky you are! A horse like this is a great treasure." The monk calmly replied, "Luck or misfortune, who knows?" Later, the monk's son tried to tame the horse but fell and broke his leg. The villagers exclaimed, "What a misfortune! Now your son won't be able to work." The monk, with the same serenity, replied, "Luck or misfortune, who knows?" Weeks later, a war broke out, and all the young men in the village were drafted, except the monk's son, who could not fight due to his injury. The villagers said again, "How lucky you are!" And the monk, unfazed, replied once more, "Luck or misfortune, who knows?" This story shows us something powerful. Life always unfolds beyond our limited perception of the present. Often we rush to judge events as good or bad, without realizing that each event is connected to something greater that we cannot yet see. How many times has something that seemed like a misfortune ended up leading us to a better place? Maybe you lost a job and thought it was the end, but that loss led you to discover your passion. Maybe a relationship ended, and you suffered, but later you realized it was for the best. Life is wise, and when we trust its process, we stop suffering over what we do not understand in the moment. Buddhist masters teach that the universe does not take anything from us. What leaves does so because its cycle has ended. What arrives does so because we are ready to receive it. But to understand this, we need patience and an open mind. Another Buddhist story tells of a man who saw a butterfly struggling to emerge from its cocoon. With good intentions, he helped it by carefully opening the cocoon. The butterfly came out, but its wings were weak, and it could never fly. The man did not know that the effort to leave the cocoon was necessary to strengthen its wings. By intervening, he hindered its development. How often in life do we rush and try to force things? We want instant answers, immediate results. But the process is part of the learning. We cannot open the cocoon prematurely. We cannot rush what is not yet ready. Trust in life does not mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means doing our part without anxiety. Like a farmer who plants his crop and tends to it but does not pull the plants to make them grow faster, he knows everything has its own rhythm. Buddhism invites us to see life with the eyes of an observer. Instead of resisting or fighting what happens, we can observe it with curiosity. What is this situation teaching me? Sometimes the lessons are not immediately clear, but if we look back, we see that everything has had a purpose. Accepting uncertainty is not easy, but it is liberating. It allows us to live with less fear, less anxiety. It lets us enjoy the present without obsessively worrying about the future, because in the end, what is meant for us will come, and what is not will leave. And on this path of trust, there is a powerful tool that helps us find clarity amid chaos: meditation. In the next chapter, we will explore how the practice of meditation connects us with inner peace and strengthens our trust in life. The practice of meditation to cultivate inner peace. In a Buddhist monastery, a disciple approached his master and said, "My mind is a whirlwind of thoughts. I try to find peace, but the harder I try, the more restless I feel." The master smiled and asked him to take a glass of muddy water and stir it. "Now wait," he said. Gradually, the mud settled at the bottom and the water became clear. "This is how the mind works," the master explained. "If you let it be still, clarity comes on its own." Meditation is one of Buddhism's most powerful tools for training the mind and finding inner peace. It is not about emptying the mind or escaping problems. It is about observing without judgment, allowing thoughts to flow without clinging to them. We live in a world of constant stimuli, notifications, social media, news, worries. Our minds are always busy, but when we meditate, we give them a break. It is like turning off external noise to listen to what truly matters. The benefits of meditation are backed by science. It reduces stress, improves concentration, and strengthens the immune system. Most importantly, it helps us develop a healthier relationship with our thoughts and emotions. Beyond the benefits, meditation teaches us something fundamental: impermanence. When we close our eyes and observe our breath, we realize that everything is fleeting. A thought arises and passes. An emotion surfaces and fades. This helps us understand that nothing in life is permanent. Not pain, not sadness, not anxiety. Everything flows. Many people say they cannot meditate because their minds do not stop, but the mind does not have to stop. Meditation is not about stopping thoughts, it is about learning to see them like clouds in the sky. They come and go, but the sky remains. There are many forms of meditation in Buddhism, but one of the simplest and most effective is breath meditation. You only need to find a quiet place, close your eyes, and focus on the air entering and leaving. Are your nostrils? Do not try to control anything, just observe. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to the breath. There is no need to force anything. Another powerful practice is loving kindness meditation, metta. Each day, take a few minutes to reflect on things you are grateful for. This shifts your perspective, helping you focus on the positive rather than what is lacking. There is also the meditation of letting go. If something weighs on you, imagine holding it in your hands. Breathe deeply, and with each exhale, imagine releasing it, little by little. It is a simple but powerful practice for emotional release. As we meditate regularly, we begin to notice changes. We react less to difficulties. We feel more peace in our daily lives. We learn to live with greater presence, and this presence is key to letting go of control and flowing with life, the next step on our path. In the next chapter, we will explore how to learn to trust the universe and release the need to control every detail of our existence. How to let go of control and flow with the universe. One day a disciple was at the river with his master. As they watched the water, the master said, "See how it flows without resistance, adapting to every rock, every curve, every change in the eye. It does not fight the current, it simply moves forward. We try to control everything, our relationships, our future, what others think of us. We believe that if we plan enough, we can avoid pain and guarantee happiness. But life does not work that way. Like the river, life is in constant motion. When we cling to what we cannot control, we suffer. Buddhism teaches us that true peace comes when we learn to let go. This does not mean we stop striving. It means we accept that not everything depends on us. We can do our best work, but we cannot control the outcome. We can love someone, but we cannot force them to stay. We can take care of our health, but we cannot avoid illness forever. There is a Buddhist story about a man clinging to a tree branch at the edge of a cliff. He is exhausted, but afraid to let go. He does not know that just below him is solid ground. If he let go, he would land safely, but his fear keeps him trapped. This is how many of us live. We cling to jobs that do not fulfill us, to relationships that no longer work, to expectations that only frustrate us. We fear letting go because we believe we will fall, but often letting go is what saves us. So how do we learn to let go of control? First, by accepting that uncertainty is part of life. There are no absolute guarantees. The problem is not uncertainty, it is our resistance to it. Instead of fearing the future, we can view it with curiosity. What opportunities will life bring me? It also helps to remember that what we perceive as a problem may actually be a door. Some people lost their jobs only to discover their true calling. Relationships ended to make way for something better. Everything is connected in ways we cannot always see in the moment. Another way to practice detachment is to stop identifying with results. We do something because we enjoy it, not just because we expect a reward, like a painter who paints without worrying about selling the painting, or a child who plays without thinking about winning. When we act from this place, life becomes lighter. Meditation is also key. It helps us observe our fears without being swept away by them. It allows us to see clearly what we can and cannot change. Letting go of control does not mean leaving everything to chance. It means trusting that whatever happens, we will handle it. It means stopping resistance and starting to flow with life. And when we flow, something beautiful happens. We begin to feel more compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves. Because letting go is not just about the external world. It is also about releasing our own self-judgment and criticism. In the next chapter, we will explore how compassion helps us live with more love and less suffering. Compassion for oneself and others. A monk was walking along a path when he saw a man beating his chest and crying. "Master," the man said, "I have made many mistakes. I have hurt people I love, and I cannot forgive myself." The monk replied gently, "If a bird breaks its own wing for making a mistake in flight, how will it ever fly again? Guilt is the stone that prevents us from moving forward. Compassion is the wind that allows us to keep going." In Buddhism, compassion is one of the most important pillars, but it is not just about being kind to others. It is also about learning to be kind to ourselves. Often, we are our own worst critics. We punish ourselves for past mistakes, demand perfection, and speak to ourselves harshly. We say things to ourselves that we would never say to someone we love. But what good does this harshness do? Does it help us grow? The truth is, it does. Not self-compassion is not an excuse to avoid growth. It is the foundation for changing without fear. A tree does not grow stronger if we strike it. It grows if we water it patiently. There is a Buddhist practice called metta, loving kindness, meditation. It involves repeating phrases of compassion, first for ourselves, then for others. We start with something as simple as, may I be well, may I be happy, may I live in peace. At first, it may feel strange. Many people find it hard to wish themselves happiness because they feel unworthy. But the reality is that only when we learn to treat ourselves with love can we offer genuine love to others. Compassion also means understanding that we are all on a learning path. No one is born knowing how to live. We all make mistakes, react in ways we later regret. But if we keep punishing ourselves for the past, we cannot move forward. That said, compassion does not mean justifying what harms us. If someone treats us badly, we do not have to accept their behavior. We can be compassionate without allowing ourselves to be hurt. The difference is that instead of reacting with hatred, we react with understanding, not because the other person deserves it, but because we deserve peace. There is a Buddhist story about a man carrying a sack of stones on his back. Exhausted, he kept walking without putting it down. A monk saw him and asked, "Why are you carrying that weight?" The man replied, "These stones are my grudges and resentments." The monk said, "You don't need to carry them to keep walking." This is how many of us live, clinging to anger, resentment, past wounds. We think holding on to grudges punishes those who hurt us, but in reality, we punish ourselves. Letting go of resentment does not mean forgetting. It means freeing ourselves from the weight that holds us back. A Buddhist master once said, "If you hold a burning coal with the intention of throwing it at someone, you are the one who gets burned first." Anger and hatred destroy us more than they hurt the person they are directed at. So how do we cultivate compassion when we have been hurt? First, by understanding that everyone acts from their level of awareness. Someone who hurts others is likely suffering themselves. This does not justify their actions, but it helps us not take it personally. Second, by giving ourselves permission to heal. We do not have to carry the wound forever. We can choose to close that chapter and move on. Third, by remembering that compassion is not weakness, it is strength. It takes more courage to forgive than to hold a grudge. It takes more bravery to let go than to cling. When we cultivate compassion, our lives change. We stop reacting from fear and start acting from love. We become more patient, more understanding, lighter. And this compassion does not just transform our relationship with ourselves and others, it also helps us live in greater harmony and peace with the world. In the next and final chapter, we will explore how to integrate these teachings into our daily lives to live with more wisdom and fulfillment. Integrating Buddhist teachings into daily life. A monk and his disciple were walking through the forest. The anxious disciple asked, "Master, how long will it take me to reach enlightenment?" The master replied, "If you walk in haste, it will take long. If you walk patiently, it will come sooner than you imagine." This is the great secret of Buddhism. Transformation does not happen overnight. It is not about reading a book, watching a video, or understanding a concept immediately. It is about applying what we learn day after day in our daily lives, because it does no good to know that attachment causes suffering if we keep clinging out of fear. It does no good to understand the importance of acceptance if we keep resisting. Buddhism is not just a beautiful concept, it is a way of living. First, the practice of detachment. This does not mean abandoning all emotional ties. It means learning to enjoy without possessing. When something good comes into your life, receive it with gratitude but without fear of losing it. When something leaves, allow yourself to feel but without clinging. Ask yourself, am I holding on to this out of love or fear? The answer will tell you whether it is time to let go. Second, radical acceptance. Face each day with the question, what can I accept today? Maybe it is a difficult situation at work, a conflict with someone, or a flaw in yourself. Acceptance does not mean resignation. It means seeing reality clearly so you can act wisely. Third, trust in life. Whenever something does not go as planned, remember the monk's horse story. Do not label events as good or bad too quickly. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me? Over time, you will see that everything has a purpose. Fourth, daily meditation. It does not have to be long or complicated. Just a few minutes of mindful breathing can make a difference. If you dedicate 5 minutes each day to observing your breath, your mind will gradually calm. Do not expect immediate results, but over time, you will react less and understand more. Fifth, letting go of control. Do your best, but do not obsess over results. Like the archer who shoots the arrow without clinging to the target, act without attachment to outcomes. If something does not go as planned, instead of frustration, ask, how can I flow with this? Remember, the best things in life are not planned. They happen when we are open to receiving them. Sixth, compassion in every action. You do not need grand gestures to practice compassion. A kind word, encouragement, even a smile can change someone's day. But above all, be compassionate with yourself. Instead of criticizing every mistake, speak to yourself as you would to a friend. Life is a path in constant motion. Do not expect to reach a state of perfect enlightenment. It is not about arriving at a destination. It is about walking with awareness. There will be days when you forget all this and react with attachment, fear, or frustration, and that is okay. Learning is not linear. What matters is returning again and again to these principles. Buddhism is not a theory, it is a practice, and the best way to integrate it is to live it, to experience, make mistakes, and keep going. Every day is a new opportunity to apply these teachings, to let go a little more, to trust a little more, to live with more peace. If this video helped you, subscribe to the channel to continue exploring these life-changing teachings together. Let us know in the comments. Which teaching resonated most with you? Have you had experiences where life showed you that everything comes at the right time? We would love to hear from you. See you in the next video.